Hola todos, let's go through my final tips for A-Level Spanish Paper 2, which will be sitting on Wednesday morning. As I'm filming this, Paper 1 was in the morning, so I hope you guys found that okay. The general consensus from what I've heard is that the paper was not too bad compared to past papers. Vale, vamos. So, firstly, you'll be given an insert with all the questions and an answer booklet. Personally, I think it's less fun if you read all the questions before starting. And what I mean by this is if you do La Casa and Volver, for example, the La Casa question will always be on that first page. So I would read both and then begin answering either of those two questions, purposefully not reading the Volver questions until the second hour when it comes time to writing a Volver essay. This way you've got something to look forward to after your first essay. With the mark scheme, just to reiterate, it's 20 marks for language and 20 for grammar. I got a full 20 marks for grammar in my Volver essay last year, so it's possible to get full marks. If you deserve full marks, the examiners will give you full marks. The top mark band for AO3 says the language produced is mainly accurate, with only occasional minor errors. The student shows a consistently secure grasp of grammar and is able to manipulate complex language accurately. The student uses a wide range of appropriate vocabulary. Minor things are like missing accents, and serious errors are the ones that affect your communication, so it becomes unclear what it is that you want to say. And then complex language is things like subjunctive and reflexive verbs. For AO4, knowledge of the text or film must be consistently accurate and detailed. Opinions, views, and conclusions are consistently supported by relevant evidence from the text or film, and your answer needs to demonstrate an excellent evaluation of the issues, themes, and the context of the text or film. And just to highlight there for AO4, everything you say is your opinion, it's not a fact, so it's your opinion, your point of view, and your analysis. I would ask yourself repeatedly throughout the exam, why do characters act as they do, and why has the author or director done this? And just a hint, it's not for fun, there's always a reason behind everything, right? Whether it's a character or something as small as camera movement. This constant questioning will help you to develop better analysis and therefore get higher marks for AO4. Overall, the biggest piece of advice I have is to link back to the question always. In the exam, I would rewrite the full question title onto your answer page at the top, and then constantly link back to the question. It's super easy to end up narrating what happens in the text or film when you should be answering the question. The examiners have seen the text or film, so there's no point in necessarily narrating what happens unless it's relevant. In terms of timings, from the 60 minutes, we're going to spend at least 5 minutes at the start to plan and 5 minutes at the end to proofread. And this leaves a good 50 minutes in the middle to actually write the essay. In whatever time you have left before Wednesday, go through as many possible essay titles from past papers and made up ones and practice planning essays. I realize you guys probably haven't been taught how to plan an essay, so I will show you how I would do it now. And just before I get onto that, I've got various paper 2 videos on my channel, and I've got a page on my website for La Casa, Como Agua, Volver, and El Laberinto. So for example, astarspanish.com/lcdba will take you to my page on La Casa de Buena de Alba. Okay, when it comes to planning, once you've picked the essay or the question you want to answer, I would spend a minute brainstorming evidence and scenes that you can mention, and then group them into 3 main points which will form your 3 paragraphs. For this Volver question, analiza cómo presenta Almodóvar las figuras masculinas en Volver. ¿Qué impacto tienen en la vida de las protagonistas? So, for example, there's lots of men that we can talk about. We've got El Chico de Grabación, El Padre de Raimunda, Paco, Emilio, who else have we got? Sole's husband as well. Some of these men we don't physically see in the film, so I would do my first paragraph about their absence. You cannot write an essay without mentioning Raimunda and all the female characters, so even though the question seems like it's about men, women are going to be heavily linked, and you can argue the bad light in which men are portrayed, which make women more independent, hardworking, and overall successful. I would do, so the abuse by Paco and Raimunda's dad could be your second paragraph. And then for my third, if I do it down here, I would do it on sort of the simplicity or the one-dimensionality of men, and I could say something like no son complejos in Spanish, and this is where I would include women. Because the question mentions qué impacto, what impact it's got on the sort of protagonist, I'm going to mention very clearly the impact of that men have on women in that final paragraph. You would also do a very short introduction and a conclusion at the end. All the time I see introductions that are very wordy, and generally we're going to avoid putting in extra words for no reason. So we don't need to say when the movie was made or like sort of by who at the start unnecessarily. A maximum of 3 sentences is enough for your introduction, and that's sort of not very long sentences. I've got Volver essay videos on my channel where I do a full essay live. Anyway, let's finalize the plan here. So for absence, I'm going to make sure I talk about Raimunda's dad, who has got an impact on obviously Raimunda, but we'd never sort of see him directly, so Raimunda's dad. and also Sole's husband, who we hear about when she talks to Irene, but again, we never see him directly. With the abuse, there's obviously lots of quotes. We're going to talk about Paco and Raimunda. There's a quote that Agustina says towards the end where she says to Raimunda, porque tu padre había nacido para hacer sufrir a las mujeres que le quería. So because your dad was born to do harm or make the woman in his life that he loved suffer. With quotes, shorter quotes always work better, and at A level, an explanation of the scene also counts as evidence without having direct quotes. And then for the third paragraph, in terms of the scene, the Tia Paula's funeral, we see men for a split second, but they're not speaking, so we could say men don't have their own sort of identity at all in the film. Okay, two more things we've got to include in our plan: context and director techniques. So context I'm going to do in blue, and then I'm going to talk about Almodovar. Sort of all of his films were about women, and the vast majority of his films are focused on that sort of female universe. There's two sort of director techniques I can talk about: color, in terms of obviously the color red, symbolizing things like blood and anger, and very highly linked to Raimunda, and we can sort of link that into the paragraph about abuse. And another director technique is the camera movement. So the camera zooms into Raimunda when she's crying, when she sees Paco's body. And that would be what my plan looks like. So 3 paragraphs, some sort of quotes, and little bits for evidence and sort of small points that I'm going to make. And then make sure you include context and sort of the author, and also director techniques. In the exam, your plan won't be marked at all, so if you're confident on the ideas in your head, you don't need to write it all down. The plan should be very rough like I've done here, but think about it properly for a couple of minutes, but do it as quickly as you can. Vale, that's all I've got to say. Thanks so much for watching my A-level videos for however long you have been doing so. It's been a pleasure making these videos this year. I finished A-level Spanish just last year, and now here I am teaching you guys how to sort of do well in your exams. I'm very grateful to be in this position, and it's thanks to you guys. I'm going to mention here as well, if you want to join my team next year, making videos, resources, tutoring younger years, then please get in contact via email. I'm looking for exceptionally talented and passionate people only. Vale, good luck, smash the exam tomorrow, and have a good rest of your life. I wish you all the success in the future. Adios.